Hello, I'm Cody Whipple with the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission. Welcome to our virtual Introduction to Ice Fishing series of videos. Today, we're joined by a special guest, Jordan Allison. Jordan is a fisheries biologist with the Division of Environmental Services, and he's also an avid ice angler. In this video, he's going to introduce you to the basic tip-up, essentially how to rig it up and how to set it, how it works.
So what we have here is one of the many types of tip-ups that are available at many of your local bait and tackle stores. And essentially what it is a fish trap. So you have a main line that's on a spool that goes down in the water so that it doesn't freeze, followed by a weight to hold your minnow or your other bait down at the level that you want it to be at. And then what happens is you put this flag down and then you set it underneath this T-bar. So when you set your tip-up and bait at the correct depth, the fish will take it, the spool will spin, and it will actually trip and it will notify you that you have a fish on because the flag will have gone up. Many times you can set multiple lines of these out and you can fish them with either spikes or waxworms, the live minnows, anything from fatheads all the way up to large suckers for different fish species, including panfish like yellow perch all the way up to muskies. So what we're actually going to do here is I have a lead depth finder, and what you do is you clip this on your hook and you send it to the bottom of the hole to find out what the depth is. So you send it down the hole, and because it's nice and heavy, it goes down very quickly. So you go down. All right, now we're on the bottom, and I can feel that because there's slack in the line, and then when I lift it up, I can feel the weight of that depth finder. So what you generally want to do is you want to lift that depth finder up till you're about 2 feet off the bottom, because you want your minnow or bait to be suspended. And so then you pull your line out.
What kind of line is that?
So this one is actually rigged up with a like a Dacron backing that would be similar to something that's on your fly line, followed by a small barrel, or excuse me, followed by a small bullet weight, a swivel so that you don't get line twist, and then a piece of about 40-pound braided line. And I like to use the braided line because a lot of times when you're fishing minnows in these lakes, you will catch critters that have teeth like chain pickerel, northern pike, and they tend to cut off monofilament, so I run braid on mine. So after you have the depth that you know that you need to be at figured out, you can take your bait out of your pocket, and since we're fishing for panfish today, I'm just going to use some spikes. So you put a couple of spikes on your hook. Send everything back down the hole with your weight. Reel up the slack so you get to the correct depth that you found with your depth finder. I was about 2 feet that I had to reel up onto the spool, and then you take your flag, you put it under your T-bar, and that will hold your bait in place so it stays at the depth that you want it to be at. You set it in the hole, and then you wait. And then as soon as you get your bite, like we said before, your flag will go up. Boop. There you go. You run over. You pull the tip up out of the hole, and a lot of times you actually see the spool spinning when you do this. You give it some slack and you set it down beside you. And then you wait till you feel the weight of the fish. And then you set the hook by giving it a small, short jerk. And then you can actually fight the fish hand over hand to get it back up out of the hole. The one thing you do want to be careful of, though, is that you don't get your line all twisted and tangled up because it will make a large mess. So keep the line control in mind when you're pulling out of the hole, and usually you put it beside you or behind you so that when you're ready to, you can rebait and put it right back down after you get your fish in. And that's how you set a tip up.